All right, welcome back, everybody, to our second episode of our Rebuilding the Jags series. I am Tuxedo T-Shirt. Happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're all doing better than our Jacksonville Jaguars. That is right, folks. 8 games into the season, our Jacksonville Jaguars sitting at an illustrious 0-8. Bada bing, bada boom, sitting in the bottom of the AFC South. We'll get to that in just a moment. Quickly to start off this video, what I'd like to do is just run down the order in which I'm going to be tackling things to update you guys on, and then there will be some timestamps in the description of the video, so if you want to skip any specific portion, you may do that. Also, please familiarize yourself with the PDF that is down in the description below. That PDF will detail all of the updated player progression ratings. We're going to have a section of the video where I do that, but just in case you want to grab the PDF now or later, that is an option that is made available to you. So quickly, the order, we're going to start off with the box scores from all the games, running down the stats quickly. Then we're going to go to the season stats. We're going to be able to see what our players have done on each of these 8 games combined. So we get to see the individual stats from our players. Then we'll update the Pro Bowl awards for this whole season for all the teams involved, see what players. We do have a couple Jaguars slated to go to the Pro Bowl, which is pretty exciting. And then we'll do the standings, just quickly see where we sit in the rest of the league. Obviously, we're at the bottom, but we get to see who's at the top. And then we'll do player progression / roster moves, because we have picked up a couple players, we have cut a couple players, and had a couple of players re-sign for years into the future. And then lastly, scouting. So you can check those timestamps if you want to skip any spot. Let's go ahead, get started. At home against the Chiefs week 1, we lost 20-13. The player stats in this game, honestly, Blaine Gabbert had a solid game. And I've looked up the stats. So far, Blaine Gabbert has done an excellent job. Right now, he's sitting 6th in the entire NFL in passing yards, which is an impressive number. The issue has been this: completion percentage of 52% in this game. This is one of Gabbert's best games in terms of completion percentage. Very rarely has he been over 50% this year. He's taken quite a few sacks, but his yardage is great, and he hasn't thrown a lot of picks. Here's 0-0 in this game. Alex Smith, not a great day throwing the football, less than 200 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Not a very good completion percentage, but running the ball, Jamar Charles ran it down our throats. 24 carries, 146 yards. No Sean Moreno, his backup, 12 carries, 51 yards. The 2 running backs combining for almost 200 yards. Meanwhile, Darren McFadden also... quick update on the injuries. All the transactions and injuries are going to be on the PDF, so anything that I've done that's changed and taken place since the last episode is on the new PDF at the bottom. However, just to update you guys quickly on the injuries I have there, Darren McFadden missed weeks 3 to 6 with a pulled groin. He also is going to miss weeks 8 to 10, so he's currently hurt. Other guys who have missed serious amounts of time: cornerback Chris Culliver, right end Andre Branch, tight end Taylor Thompson, left outside linebacker Julian Stanford, and right outside linebacker Xavier Gooden. All guys who were out for extended periods of time. By extended periods of time, I mean at least 4 weeks. So guys who have missed a very significant amount of time indeed. Moving down the list, you see Darren McFadden not running the ball well. That is a running problem for us, but we'll get more to that later. Justin Blackman having a great game. Edwards, Baldwin held pretty quiet for the Chiefs. Bo is going to always make a couple catches. Massaquoi doing a nice job in the slot. Shorts held rather quiet here, but he's been great. He's 11th in the entire NFL right now in receiving. Darrell Washington has been a man possessed for us this year. 17 tackles in this game. Had 17 tackles, or has had as many in many games. Justin Houston had 2 sacks. Kicking the ball, Scobie 2 of 2. Suck up 2 for 4. Punting, Brian Anger has been phenomenal. I don't think there's a single game so far this year where he's had an average lower than his opponent. Kick returns, we have not returned anything for a touchdown this year, and we've not allowed a touchdown either, so not terribly interesting that perspective. This is pretty standard also in terms of yardage and the results that we've allowed. The opponents scorched us in offensive rushing yards, but we did win the passing game. However, the biggest issue with the running game being as it is we get hosed every single game in time of possession. The Chiefs doubling us 40 minutes, 4 seconds to 19 minutes, 56 seconds. And that's a pretty standard script for what we're about to see. There's games that are closer, games that aren't as close. And actually, that's something I am pretty proud of. The Jaguars have yet to to have a series of games in which they are blown out. They did lose very handily to the Colts by a score of 38-17. They did just get stomped by the 49ers 37-20. But aside from that, we've been in one-score games all season. This one is our third worst loss to the Raiders, only by a score of 10 points, 19-9 the final score. Player stats, Matt Flynn, again, not a great game. Gabbert threw 2 picks. He has just 5 interceptions on the season through 8 games, so 2 of those 5 coming in this one. But he did throw for over 300 yards, even if his completion percentage of 47% was bad. Matt Flynn was bad as the Raiders starting quarterback, running the ball. We held Maurice Jones-Drew to just 58 yards on the ground, the former Jaguar. Meanwhile, Darren McFadden actually won that battle. He had 4 more carries, but he had 3 more yards, so let's count that as a win. That is also the highest rushing output any of our players have had individually this season. Just 61 yards, not good. Rashad Jennings, 13 carries, 44 yards. And that's pretty much it for the rushing game. Receiving, Cecil Shorts gets back on the horse. Great game, 127 yards off 8 catches. Denarius Moore had a great game. Massaquoi had a great game. Justin Blackman had just 53 yards. Also, this was Ryan Otten's first game as a Jaguar where he was the starter. He took over for Taylor Thompson, who got hurt halfway through the game. And Taylor Thompson, though he is scheduled to be healthy for the next game we play, which will be our 9th game because we've simulated the first 8 this year. He got hurt in this game, has been hurt ever since, so he'll be coming back. But he's not on the not on any list from here on out in terms of box scores. Darrell Washington, 13 tackles. Why? Because he's ridiculous. Sacks, 2 for Miles Burris, 1 for Larry Grant, and 1 for Billy Wynn, who was in for the injured right end Andre Branch. Andre Branch, like Thompson, out from here on out for all the games for which we have results. Janikowski, 4 of 4. Scobie, 3 of 3. Punting, Anger again beats his counterpart. Kick returns, boom. Punt returns, boom. Box score, you can see here, we outpassed the opponent, but they outrushed us. And as a result, they're going to take, there you go, 36 minutes to 23 minutes. They take the time of possession battle. Next game, week 3, Jacksonville Jaguars in Seattle to take on the Seahawks, going toe-to-toe with a tough team, come away with a 14-10 loss. Blaine Gabbert, I think, had his worst game as a pro here. 30% of his passes completed, 1 pick for just over 100 yards. Obviously playing against a very, very difficult Seattle Seahawks defense. Russell Wilson wasn't great, though. 218 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick, 42% completion percentage, not stellar. Running the ball, Marshawn Lynch ran it all over us. Him and Robert Turbin combining for almost 200 yards and more than 5 yards a carry and a touchdown. Denard Robinson had 18 carries for 62 yards. In at this point for the injured Darren McFadden. That's his best game so far this season. Receiving the ball, no stellar numbers anywhere. Shorts, our best player, 4 catches for 62 yards. Defensively, guess who leads the game in tackles? Darrell Washington, 13 tackles. In terms of sacks in the game, Julian Stanford, who missed significant time after this game, week 6 to 9 with an injury. It was a pulled groin, had 3 sacks this one. And Billy Wynn, playing out of position, who we got for peanuts from the Cleveland Browns, gets his 2nd straight sack. Josh Scobie went 1 for 1. Hauschka went 0 for 3 in this game. That's brutal. Punting the ball, Brian Anger again was phenomenal. Kick returns, boom. Punt returns, boom. Box score. You can see here every little yellow arrow on the Seattle Seahawks side of it, with the exception of a very few, and they double us up in time of possession, 39-14 to 20-45. On to the next one. Jacksonville Jaguars at home against the Colts get shit kicked, 38-17. This one wasn't even close. Blaine Gabbert actually had a pretty good game, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He completed more than 50% of his passes. Actually, probably had a bit of a better game. Well, no, that's not true. Had almost as good of a game as Andrew Luck with 281 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and completed 57% of his passes. Gabbert, though, putting together a pretty nice game on the ground. Ahmad Bradshaw took this game over, 163 yards. Denard Robinson did not take this game over. 40 yards and a fumble off 13 carries. Not exactly stellar numbers. Receiving, Darius Hayward-Bay and Reggie Wayne led the way for the Colts. Ryan Otten playing a nice game at the tight end spot, in for the injured Taylor Thompson. Massaquoi, Blackman, Shorts having small games relative to what they've been able to output the rest of the season. Darryl Washington leads the entire game in tackles for the fourth straight game. Sacks, meanwhile, 3 for Robert Mathis, the future Hall of Famer, 1 for Aaron Curry, 1 for Julian Stanford, and 1 for Kelvin Shepard. We're not updating the interceptions on those pages, but we'll get to team interceptions as we progress later to season stats in a moment. Josh Scobie, 1 of 1. Vinatieri, 1 of 1 as well. Punting, boom. Anger beats his counterpart again. Kick returns, boom. Punt returns, boom. And that be that box score. You can see here, offensive rushing yards, we are outgained almost 5-1, 219 to 44. Offensive passing yards, pretty much the same, though. However, with the rushing yards being the way they are, we lose the time of possession battle again, almost 2-1, which is not stellar. At the Rams now, Jags lose 23-17. Close one in this game. Blaine Gabbert, again, decent output, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Only completed 41% of his passes, though. Kellen Clemens wasn't stellar, 51% of his passes, but he had 2 touchdowns and 250 yards. Good enough to take the game. Rushing, Dale Richardson, phenomenal, 24 carries for 98 yards, and Isaiah Peed behind him, 15 for 44. Meanwhile, Denard Robinson had nothing doing all day, 44 yards off 16 carries. Mohamed Massaquoi, Cecil Shorts, having good games. Leading receiver for us, though, is Jordan Shipley, who we've decided to keep around. Originally, I said we were going to release Shipley when he became healthy. Truth is, I've decided to keep him around. He's pretty good in the slot. Darryl Washington, 16 tackles, 5th straight game. He's led the entire game in tackles. This time he also chips in a sack, along with Xavier Gooden and Thaddeus Gibson. 2 for the Rams, Daniel Teo Nashim and Chris Long. Chris Long's name being a lot easier to say. Greg the Leg went 3 of 4. Josh Scobie, 1 of 1. Punting, Anger beats his counterpart again, which is important because he punts a huge number of times. Kick returns, boom. Punt returns, boom. Box score. Same old song and dance here, folks. Passing yards, pretty similar, but the run game is what is absolutely killing us, and really the difference in all these games. And again, you could see time of possession closer, but still lost out by 2 full minutes. On to the next one, as Jay-Z says, at the Denver Broncos, 31-23, the final score. Playing a competitive game against a very good team here. Peyton Manning had a stellar game, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, and completing 73% of his passes. Blaine Gabbert, decent game, though. 50% of his passes were complete for a touchdown, 274 yards. Clearly doing a nice job of protecting the ball. Hasn't thrown a pick in a long time. Darren McFadden, a poorer game. Actually, this is his best game in terms of output, 68, but still never hitting over that 70 mark. He's healthy now, got 2 touchdowns, though he does get hurt in a couple games. Monty Ball, 28 carries, 48 yards. So here's a game where we actually do win the rushing battle. Denard Robinson, 17 yards. Brandon Bolden, 17 yards. Blaine Gabbert picks up 5 yards. So we win the rushing battle here by 20 yards, which is not a lot and still not a very good game. But here's how we got screwed. Wes Welker, 14 catches for 161 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wes Welker essentially serving as a running back in his own right here, playing a phenomenal game. Joel Dreesen as well, very dangerous as the tight end. Justin Blackman had a great game, 102 yards of 7 catches, as did Cecil Shorts, 6 catches for 120 yards. But Demaryius Thomas, we just could not contain Peyton Manning. So in a game where we finally have a great game against the run, or at least a decent game against the run, it doesn't count for anything. Wesley Woodyard and Demetrius McCray lead the way in tackles. McCray would have been covering Welker because of all the tackles, and it doesn't help, again, that Chris Culliver was out of the game, unable to help out in the coverage game at all. Sacks in this one, we had 2 go to Von Miller, 1 to Doug Hogue, who would have been in for the injured Julian Stanford. Matt Prater went 1 of 1. Josh Scobie, 1 of 2. Punting, boom. Brian Anger beats out his man by 3.7 yards per punt. These are the kick return numbers, punt return numbers, boom. And bottom to the box score now. You can see here for the first time this year, we outrush our opponent by anything. And we actually beat them out by 28 yards. However, passing yards, certain other things got in the way. Just in a close game, we couldn't pull it out. And time of possession battle was lost again because Monty Ball had so many carries. On to the next game now, Week 7, at home against the Chargers. We lost 21-14. Player stats, Phillip Rivers was solid, 267 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did throw 2 picks, though. but a completion percentage of 65%. Blaine Gabbert just 46%. No touchdowns, no picks, 201 yards. Running the ball, Ryan Matthews, 28 carries, 90 yards and a touchdown. Danny Woodhead chipping in 46 yards off 8 carries. Denard Robinson, brutal, 2.2 yards per carry. Not impressive, though he did kick in a touchdown. Malcolm Floyd was dominant in the receiving game. The 6'5" veteran gets 146 yards off 10 catches. Meanwhile, Cecil Shorts was our leading receiver, 68 yards off 5 catches. Defensively, Darrell Washington leading the game with a disgusting 16 touchdowns. In the sack game, Thaddeus Gibson struck, as did Kendall Reyes of the San Diego Chargers. Josh Scobie went 0 for 1. Nick Novak 0 for 2. Punting game, Brian Anger takes it again. Kick return, boom. Punt return, boom. Onto the box scores now. You can see here all little yellow triangles pretty much going down the San Diego Chargers side. Would have been nice if we could have made something of the 2 interceptions we got. However, time of possession being what it is, it's hard to make that work. All the incompletions from Gabbert not helping that, I'm sure. Now at home against the 49ers, 37-20 the score. Player stats, Colin Kaepernick, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Gabbert, 294 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. 2 picks in this one. Just 51% of his passes were completed. Running the ball, Frank Gore, 25 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Denard Robinson, 15 carries for 30. A pathetic 2 yards per carry. Nothing doing for him. Receiving, Bolden, 6 for 63 and a touchdown. Leading the game for us, Justin Blackman, 81 yards off 5 catches. Shorts right behind him, 70 yards off 4 catches. Defensively, guess who led the game in tackles? Darrell Washington, the phenom middle linebacker of these Jacksonville Jaguars. Alden Smith, Glenn Dorsey, and Perez Harrelson kicked in sacks for the 49ers win, and Gibson each chipped in 1 for the Jags. Kicking the ball, Scobie 2 of 2, Phil Dawson 2 of 2. Punting, Anger and Lee tie. The first time that Anger has been threatened so far this season. Kick returns, boom. Punt returns, boom. And we're on to the box scores now of our 8th and final game. Again, we get scorched in the rushing category. 4-1, the ratio of rushing yards. Though we won the passing game, we didn't win the turnover battle, which I really didn't help. But we did have the most total yards. Just the turnovers killing us. And then time of possession, obviously, 49ers dominate. So those are our box scores. On now to season statistics. And as we're going through the season statistics, I want to talk a little bit about decisions for who's going to come up, and this potential substitutions. Basically, is what I'm saying. It's also going to play into scouting, this and player progression, because as you can see, Blaine Gabbert, his numbers, obviously the rating is poor, 65.2, not a good quarterback rating. The main reason for that rating is the 46% completion percentage. However, he's been sacked 19 times in 8 games, which is not good. But his yardage is phenomenal. His number of interceptions is also, to me, really acceptable. 10 picks in an entire season. When you've attempted 327 passes, 5 picks is a pretty good number. Not at all opposed to that. However, too many incompletions, not enough touchdowns. 6 touchdowns, not nearly enough for the amount of times he's put the ball in the air. So we look at that and we say, maybe we look at putting somebody else in. I don't know. I want your guys' advice when we get to the player progression screen. On to Denard Robinson now in the rushing game. 2.8 yards per carry. Nothing to shout about. Robinson came to us as a really raw rookie. So we have progressed him now since our 8 games were played, with all of his points coming from practice and whatnot. Hopefully we can get him up and running, but my goodness, our rushing game has been terrible. Darren McFadden, when he's not hurt, has played rather poorly. 3.4 yards per carry, nothing to celebrate at all, and no one else has had any success either. Jordan Todman, 6 carries, 8 yards, not a lot to shout about. Cecil Shorts, the 11th leading receiver in the entire NFL, 595 yards off 36 catches, impressive, though he doesn't have any touchdowns, which to me is weird. Off 36 catches, you don't have 1 touchdown. Massacoy's been great in the slot, 302 yards off 28 catches and a touchdown. Blackman leading the way in receiving touchdowns, 400 yards off 27 catches, 3 touchdowns. Very, very nice. Ryan Otten, when he's been in for Taylor Thompson, hasn't done very well. 18 catches, 168 yards. Ryan Otten is a project player. Really shouldn't be starting right now in because of injury, but he's done very little. And Taylor Thompson, you can see him all the way down here in just one game. He had 3 catches, 20 yards. Hopefully we can get him in. And also, Taylor Thompson, his run blocking ability is stellar. It's 82 for a guy who's as fast as he is and really a receiving tight end. He is a great blocker. So getting him in and back and healthy should help the run game, hopefully. On to defensively now. Darrell Washington, 112 tackles is ridiculous. He has a tackle for loss and a sack to that total. Jonathan Cyprin, his season goal was to get 50 tackles, and we've already hit his bonus for experience points because he has 53. The rookie out of FIU, phenomenal stuff. Also chips in an interception. Xavier Gooden, 44 tackles and a sack. Demetrius McCray, 44 tackles. It's not a good number for a cornerback to have, but without Culliver in, we're playing some inexperienced guys. Antoine Blake, 38 tackles, 1 pick. Dwayne Gratz, 32 tackles, 1 pick. Jeremy Harris, 29. Jesse Williams, 28. 28 tackles for a defensive tackle is ridiculous through the halfway point of the season. 56 tackles. I challenge anyone to find a defensive tackle who's made 56 tackles over the course of an NFL season. That's a ridiculous number for a defensive tackle who typically, those guys come away with 30 tackles in a whole season, much less 28 over the first 8 games. Pat Angerer, Julian Stanford, Linval Joseph, Billy Wynn, 3 sacks. Thaddeus Gibson, 3 sacks. Would like to see some more progression from those two guys, but undoubtedly getting getting Andre Branch back at the right end spot will help. Branch played just 1 game before he fractured his elbow. He'll be back and healthy now, but he missed 7 games. Josh Scobie, 11 of 13. Brian Anger, a very impressive 46.3 yards per punt out of California. He has had a great season, though it's disappointing that he's on pace to punt the ball more than 125 times. It's ridiculous. Kick returns, boom, you can see Shipley and Sanders, pretty good average. Robinson, not as much. Punt returns, A. Saunders has not put up a whole lot there. So those are the numbers. When we go to player progression, we will be able to analyze those a little more, and depending on who could be starting, who could not be starting. Quick dash over to the awards. I've checked. We do not have any weekly awards, so we're on to yearly awards now. Yearly awards, Colin Kaepernick, the projected MVP of the NFL. You can see the numbers here, or the names here. I'm not going to read them out to you because we don't have, believe it or not, we don't have any Jacksonville Jaguars who are currently sitting in the MVP spot. Offensive Player of the Year, Welker and Manning sit atop that list. No Jags. Defensive Player of the Year, Darrell Washington sitting in 4th. If we had an 8-0 record as opposed to an 0-8 record, I don't think there would be any contest for who the outstanding Defensive Player of the Year was going to be. However, as it is, he's sitting in 4th. Undoubtedly, our record hurting him. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Denard Robinson sitting in 4th, which isn't so much a testament to his ability as the lack of ability of other rookies in the AFC, I think. Ryan Otten also sitting on the list at 9th. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jonathan Cyprin sitting in 3rd. Xavier Gooden sitting in 6th. And Demetrius McCray sitting in 9th. So 3 guys on that list. Again, I think our record kind of hurting us in that regard. Best quarterback, Blaine Gabbert, sitting in 10th. So 10th best quarterback, despite the fact that he's 6th in passing. It's a testament to how bad his percentage has been so far for completions. Running back, we got nothing, which to me is perfectly okay. Cecil Shorts sitting in 8th on the wide receiver list. Offensive lineman, we got nothing. Nobody. Defensive lineman, again, we got nothing. We got nobody. Defensive backs, come on, guys. No, we got nothing. And best kicker, well, fortunately, Josh Scobie's sitting in 8th. So there you go, Josh Scobie, who's 11 of 13 on the year, sitting there. Pro Bowl voting. We'll quickly go over the AFC to begin with. Manning, Brady, and Flynn. Wow, Flynn coming out of left field as the 3rd guy. Would not have expected to see him there. Rice, Ridley, and Richardson, the halfbacks. Fullback, Will Johnson. Good for Will Johnson, sitting in 1st in the fullback spot. He was a free agent pickup for us before the season. Greg Jones, the 2nd guy. Receivers, Welker, Green, Floyd, Jenkins, Cribbs, Dobson, Breeston, and Brown. So no Jags there, not surprisingly. Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Gates, Joel Dreesen, the tight ends. Tackles, Valdir and Soldier. Schwartz and Mankin as the left guards. Gradkowski and Wendell, the centers. Yanda and Connolly, the right guards. Michael Orr and Sebastian Vollmer, the right tackles. Onto the defensive line now. J.J. Watt, Mario Williams, Sean Phillips, Kendall Reyes, Jarrell Casey, Geno Atkins, Vince Wilfork, the defensive lineman. Von Miller, Justin Houston, Lawrence Timmons, Darrell Washington. To me, this is the biggest joke of them all. Darrell Washington is scorching the rest of the NFL in terms of tackles, and he is not in the first place position for middle linebackers. Shame, shame, shame on you, Madden 25. Manny Lawson and Robert Mathis, the right outside linebackers. Corners, DJ Hayden, Greg Toller, Jason McCourty, and Alfonso Denard. Free safeties, Devin McCourty and Ed Reed. Strong safeties, TJ Ward, and guess who? Jonathan Seifert, another Jag, getting on the list. Steven Gostkowski and Sam Koch, the specialists in the NFC. We got Rodgers, Breeze, Kaepernick. Can't do much better than that. Peterson, McCoy, and Lynch, the running backs. Again, can't do much better than that. DeMarco and Colbert, the two fullbacks. Bolden, Cobb, White, Nelson, Marshall, Cruz, and Thomas, the wide receivers. Tight ends, Jimmy Graham, Jason Witten, Jermichael Finley. Left tackles, Joe Staley, Jordan Gross. Left guards, Mike Iapudi and Josh Sitton. Centers, Ryan Khalil and Max Unger. Right guards, Jari Evans, Alex Boone. Right tackle, Anthony Davis and Eric Winston. Defensive line is Calais Campbell, Anthony Spencer, DeMarcus Ware, Osu Manyora, Jonathan Babineau. Pardon me. Yeah, that's Jonathan Babineau. I thought it was Jordan Babineau for a moment. Marvin Austin and Henry Melton. Linebacking core, Paris Harrelson, Ahmad Brooks, London Fletcher, Kevin Minter, Alden Smith, and Trent Cole. Corners, Hayward, Houston, Bartell, and Shields. Free safeties, Glover Quinn and Morgan Burnett. Strong safeties, William Moore, Jordan Babineau. There you go. There's the other Babineau. Kicker, Dan Bailey. Punter, John Ryan. So those are our Pro Bowl and award winners, or at least projected winners. Obviously, those haven't been announced yet. Let's take a quick glance at the standings as well, just to see where everybody sits in this little Madden world. We've created Patriots sitting atop the league with 7-1. Let's go ahead and go by division now. AFC North, Ravens running away with it at 5-2. Everyone else already has 5 losses. AFC South, that's us. Nobody running away with it yet. Titans and Texans at 4-3. Colts, surprised to see how awful they are right now. 2-5, not a good number for them. Jags, of course, yeah, we know. Patriots have run away with this one. They're 7-1. Everyone else floundering. Dolphins, Bills, and Jets. AFC West, Raiders at 5-2, leading the way. I don't think anybody saw that coming. The rest of the teams in the division, though, doing pretty well. Broncos 5-3, Chargers 4-3, Chiefs at 500, 4-4. Packers leading the NFC North at 6-1. Lions, how embarrassed, however, 6-2, 5-2 on their tails, I should say. Vikings 1-6. NFC South, Panthers 5-2, Saints 5-2, just like real life. Those two teams battling it down the stretch for that division, I'm sure. Bucks and Falcons sit behind them at 3-4. NFC East, Giants running away with it 6-2. Cowboys at 4-4. Redskins at 3-4. Eagles 3-5. NFC West, Seahawks and 49ers. Guess who's sitting atop the division at 6-2? Rams at 4-4. And take a look at this. The Arizona Cardinals sitting at 0-8, just like us. And the best part is, we're going to play the Cardinals at some point this year because we've played the Seahawks, we've played the 49ers, and we've played the Rams. So we're playing against the NFC West, which means that we get to play them, hopefully take them down. Having covered this 10, let's go over to player progression right now. Player progression being an important part, obviously, what we're doing. This is especially where I'd recommend you guys take a look at the PDF I have down below. You'll be able to check out the moves we made. First of all, in the transaction section, I'll drop the footage I have of it in here. We were able to sign a couple of players to new deals. Eugene Monroe wanted approximately, and here's the deal with Eugene Monroe, to franchise tag him, we would have to offer him $10.6 million. $10.6 million being the average of the top 5 left tackles in the entire NFL. Now, with that being the case, with Eugene Monroe being 26 years old, 87 overall, right in the prime of a left tackle's career, 26 really being where offensive linemen to me hit their stride. I figured he was worth between 6 and 7 million. The reality is he wanted 35 million over 5 years, to which I said, sure. So over 4 years, we offered him $30 million, which is a little over 7, but only 6 of which was guaranteed. So if we want to move on from him in a couple years, it wouldn't cost us that much to do so. And he accepted the first offer I made, which I guess makes that a bad negotiation. I thought I was lowballing him. I figured he'd come back and say, no, I want more guaranteed money. I want whatever. He accepted the deal right away. So to me, that's okay. We're not overpaying him, I don't think. He is not an elite left tackle in the NFL, but he is a very good one. And again, right in the prime years of his career, we have him locked up for the next 5 years now because he's making $5 million this year, and then he has his new deal that will pay him $30 million over the following 4 years. So to me, that's a good deal. The second deal we made is we re-signed one of our backup defensive tackles. Brandon Diedrich was about to come up for free agency. We signed him to a contract just over $1 million a year, which to me is a great deal. Diedrich was on for this year for making just $490,000. To me, Joseph and Williams will be our starters at the defensive tackle spot for years to come. However, Roy Miller likely to move on next year. Roy Miller, we have Roy Miller under contract for this year and next year. However, I would really like to keep Diedrich around, and I wanted to sign him for a small amount of guaranteed money in case we wanted to move him. Roy Miller has a little more guaranteed money as part of his contract at $600,000 over the next 2 years. So this way, we signed Diedrich for $3.3 million over 3 seasons, but the guaranteed money being just $300,000, so $100,000 a year. So if we want to move him as a part of a trade, we can do that, and it's not a big deal. And it just keeps us really deep at the defensive tackle position. Joseph and Williams have done a great job for us this year, but Diedrich being there on the bench really makes me feel a lot more comfortable about what we're doing. Also, we've been in negotiations a little bit with our backup halfback, Jordan Todman, who's 23 years old, just 66 overall, or was at the beginning of the year. He's higher now, but we have decided not to re-sign him. We offered him just over $1 million a year with a little bit of guaranteed money. Basically the same thing Diedrich got. He turned it down, so we're going to let him walk because, quite frankly, he's not worth more than that, and he's likely not to be our starter anytime soon. So anyways, with those contract negotiations out of the way. Also, just another note on that, there are some other players I would like to try and re-up. Will Johnson's in the last year of his deal. I'd like to get him under contract, for instance. We also, Jason Slowey, our starting center, same thing. Thaddeus Gibson, who came to us in free agency, same thing. There's a few guys here and there with those 1-year deals who I'd like to re-sign. The reality is because we signed them fresh off free agency, we can't do that at the moment. We have to wait till the end of the year to try and re-sign them, so we'll take care of that then. In the meantime, here are the updated player overall ratings. Blaine Gabbert, 79 overall from 74. For him, his awareness was just 67 when he came to us. Awareness, by the way, is going to be the big thing we've worked on with our players, because having so many young guys, rookies, first-year players, second-year players, etc., their awareness is really what drags them down. And awareness to me is hugely important. If you've watched my Buffalo Bills series, you know all about that. Awareness is, to me, represents your on-field decision-making, the quickness with which you can react to things that are going on around you, and really determines whether or not you make mental mistakes. So Blaine Gabbert came to us as a 67 in terms of awareness, up now to 80. And from there, mostly just his accuracy. His short accuracy was 83, up to 86. Medium accuracy was 72, up to 75. Deep accuracy was 69, up to 70. So he's doing nicely there. Speaking of awareness, Matt Scott, the backup, came to us with 42 awareness. 42, that's awful. The rookie now up to 80 awareness. And his overall rating has skyrocketed, up from 68 to 79. That's ridiculous, which is why, though Matt Scott is not as accurate as Blaine Gabbert, which to me means that he probably would throw just as many incompletions with his. Now saying that, we have upgraded his accuracy a bit, but we funneled almost all of his points into his awareness. I would like to give Matt Scott a couple of starts at the end of the year. I don't think that he's going to have a lot more success than Gabbard, but I think he deserves a chance, particularly after we've had a chance to upgrade some of his accuracy. Mike Kafka, we've basically just spent time with his accuracy and his awareness as well, though he's not quite as important because he's going to be a one and done for us. Darren McFadden, who's been hurt constantly this year, all we've done is changed his injury rating, upgraded it a couple points because it was terrible in the mid-70s, sitting at 74, now up to 76. His overall has dropped from 86 to 82. Just a guy we're paying for 1 year to be a star running back. While we develop some guys or maybe draft somebody for next year, the reality he's been a huge disappointment. Though fortunately we didn't have to give up anything to get him. Denard Robinson up to 75 overall from 65 overall. A big part of that reason being the awareness. It's up to 74 now. Was as terrible. Excuse me, that was a sneeze. In case you didn't hear it. He came to us with the worst awareness I've ever seen in Madden. His awareness was 35, up to 74 now. And I don't think we've changed a whole lot else for him, aside from his carrying. His carrying was also quite poor at 73 when he came to us, up to 80 now, so hopefully less likely to fumble. However, he's still a work in progress, but to me, somebody who's still worth developing. Just 22 years old, under contract for the next 4 years, and we're paying him peanuts, just $400,000 a year. Good to keep him around. Todman, meanwhile, we've worked a lot on his carrying ability. His carrying ability at this moment is 80. He came to us with 73 carrying, and then his awareness was also poor. Was at 52. Now that awareness, though I've missed it and I have to go back and find it, his awareness up to 81. So those are our halfbacks. Fullback Will Johnson has seen great growth. He came to us as a 70 overall. He's now up to 80. His awareness was poor when he got here, just at 60. Now that's up to 80. And as you can tell, for me, 80 awareness is kind of the threshold at which I like to get guys when they are going to be starting. To me, if you're a starter, you need to have awareness 80 or higher. That's just kind of my rule. I will upgrade other things in the meantime, but that's kind of my limit where I want guys to be. With him, Johnson, that is, we've also upgraded his impact blocking, get up to 82, and his run blocking was pretty good when he came to us. It was a 77, now it's up to 80, so nice job by him. Wide receivers, Justin Blackman has taken over this team. This guy, in just his second year of NFL football, young age of 23, up to 88 from 83 overall. Reason being, his catching was great when he got here. It was 80. His catching in traffic at 87. We've got his catching up to 91. Funneled almost all of his points there. Awareness was decent when he got here. It was 70. Now it's up to 82. Shorts, also a bit of an awareness upgrade for him and a catching upgrade as well. Shorts catching ability was 88. His catching in traffic was 83. We got him up to 89, which isn't a lot, but those upgrades get really expensive once they're in the high 80s. Massaquoi up to 79 from 75. Sanders up to 78 from 73. Sanders is one of those speedy little guys who has no receiving abilities whatsoever. His release, we've put at least 10 points into that already, getting it up from 45 to 55. Route running, we've worked on that as well. He could potentially be somebody who's solid. However, in the meantime, his awareness also, when he came to us, was brutal, now up to 75. Just a guy who needs a lot of work, but as a major project could potentially work out for us. 5'7", little guy playing in the slot could work out. Taylor Price, 73, started as a 73 overall player, up to 77. Shipley was 73, now up to 75. And he again is the guy we originally were not going to keep, but made the decision to keep. By the way, the two players we released were Mark Asper and Ryan Davis, a left tackle and a right end, guys who we wanted to cut but were hurt coming out of training camp, who are now gone. And I'll show you who we replaced them with, starting with tight end Derek Carrier. Derek Carrier came to us as a free agent, signed for 1 year, $190,000. He's 23 years old, came to us as a 73 overall, now up to 76. Derek Carrier is a huge project because his catching ability is poor. His catching and traffic ability, nothing great. And a lot of his fundamentals, his awareness, not very good. His route running is terrible. However, the big reason we picked Derek Carrier is because of his ridiculous physical abilities. 94 acceleration, 91 agility, 89 speed. This guy has wide receiver speed and an acceleration in a tight end's body. 6'4", 238. He's a project, but he's exciting to have. Also, Allen Reisner is in his last year with the team. We have upgraded him. He's up to 72 overall from 71. However, he'll be in his last year with the team. The two guys we're really concerned about, though, Taylor Thompson up to 81 overall from 78. Thompson has great physical ability, 6'6", 287, yet he can run like the wind. And for him, this is the biggest asset for me, 82 run blocking. 82 run blocking. That's as good as a lot of offensive linemen in the NFL. Phenomenal stuff. The downside of his game is his catching abilities. Catching in traffic were both in the 60s when he came here. Now it's up to 80 catching, 70 catching in traffic. We'll have to keep working on that a lot, as well as some other things, but my goodness, he's going to be a phenomenal player for us, I think. His awareness also up to 75 from 52. Ryan Otten, another guy who I have very high hopes for, 76 overall, up from 71. His catching was already 77 when we picked him up, but we've got that now up past 80 to 81. His catching in traffic sitting at 80. That's pretty good for a tight end. His awareness when he came to us was 45. Now we have that number way up, though I have not seen it. For him, the biggest issue for us, I think in the meantime, there you go, awareness up to 80. For him, the biggest issue is I want to get him his run blocking ability up, because I think the lack of run blocking for him as our primary tight end has been one of the reasons we've been struggling to move the football on the ground. Eugene Monroe, left tackle, who we just re-upped up to 89 overall from 87. Reason being, we've worked on his run blocking a little bit, got it up to 88 from 87. His upgrades, because he's a little older, are very expensive, but his awareness also up a little bit from 85 to 86, accounting for his growth. Marcel Jones, the backup, a huge project player, but he's got great size, 6'7", 320, 73 overall, up from 66. His run blocking is 75, up from, pardon me, I'm looking at this wrong. His pass blocking still at 80. His run blocking 75, up from 67, which is great. His strength is decent at 88. I don't see him as being a future starter by any means, but his awareness up to 76 from 60. He could be a good backup, I think, as soon as we can get him some run blocking. And though, of course, we want him to never play, because that would mean Eugene Monroe is hurt. Left guard, I want more progression out of this position. This probably is the position at which I have the most disappointment. Rackley up to 76 from 70. His run blocking was 83 when he got here, up to 84. His pass blocking was 73. It's up to 80. But to me, if we can find someone who's ridiculous at this level, his awareness is up to 75 from 68. If we could find someone in the draft who's like a ridiculous left guard, that might be where we want to go, because we're not getting a lot of progression on the run game. I'm quite happy with Slowey at the center position. I'm quite happy with Brandon Mosley at the right guard position. This might be where we need to look to upgrade. Bailey, meanwhile, came to us with 82 run blocking up to 84. He came to us with 72 pass blocking up to 80. And his awareness is still 52, though he came to us with awareness that was, well, even worse. It was 45. So we're still working on that with him. Jason Slowey at the center spot came to us as a free agent at 71 overall. Boom, up to 80 overall. Great progression from him. Run blocking 80. That for him is up from 76. Pass blocking is stayed at 81. But for him, the biggest deal has been his awareness. Centers need great awareness. He came to us with 50 awareness. It's up to 73. The reason centers need great awareness is because they're the ones who dictate the entire blocking scheme for the rest of the line. Hugely important, and we're working on him very nicely. Brewster's proven to be a nice backup. For him, his run blocking has up to 83 from 79. His pass blocking up to 73 from 72. And his awareness when he came to us was pretty good already, because he had some time under his belt. Was 62, which isn't great, but for a guy who's 24 isn't terrible, up to 80 now. Though he has been the backup to Slowey all season and will continue to be. Brandon Mosley up to 81 overall from 72. Very nice progression from him as well. Run blocking up to 82 from 79. Pass blocking up to 77 from 71. I love his strength. 93 is great. His acceleration is great for a guy as big as he is. And his awareness up to 73. He came to us with 52 awareness. As you can see, that's the big running theme. Campbell came to us with 49 awareness, up to 73. Run blocking is 80, up from 79. Pass blocking is 76, up from 73. And his I didn't catch his overall. Campbell's overall up to 74 from 76. So nice job, him, 22-year-old backup progressing. Luke Jokel is insane. The second overall pick of the 2013 NFL draft out of Texas A&M. Came to us with a rating of 85 overall. He's already up to 92, which is ridiculous. 90 pass blocking, that's what he came to us with, but his 86 run blocking, we've upgraded that by 1. If I have any complaints about Luke Jokel, it's his strength. I would like to have more than 87, but his acceleration is so great. His speed is so good for a big man. I'm willing to accept that. His awareness is now 84. He came to us with 64 awareness, which is the main reason why he's upgraded so quickly. Bradfield, the backup, had 68 awareness up to 81. His pass blocking when he came our way was 81. That's up 1 point. His run blocking was 77. That's up 5 points. So Bradfield doing a nice job. His overall is now 80. He came to us as a 73. So he's doing a nice job progressing behind Luke Jokel. On to the defensive side of the ball now. At the left end spot, our starter Thaddeus Gibson up to 82 from 80. For him, we've mostly worked on block shedding and his moves. His finesse moves when he came here were, his power moves were really bad. I don't have his official ones written down for when he got here. But he was much more of a finesse guy, so we've got his power moves up to 84, which I think has really helped. His block shedding is up to 70 from 64, though as we upgrade that, that'll help his run defense, which I think will help our team overall. His hit power is so good, his speed is so great, his acceleration is so good. I have very high hopes for him. He has just 3 sacks through 8 games, but I have high hopes. His awareness up to 70 from 60. Mincy, we have not upgraded because he's on IR. Billy Wynn came to us with 66 awareness. He's up to 75 there. We've worked a lot on his moves, his power and finesse moves. He came to us strictly as a power guy. His finesse moves now higher than his power moves, which is really great. His tackling is way up, which is great. His block shedding up to 83, helping out with his run support. That we haven't actually upgraded that. It's just a great stat for a guy who's in his second year, just 24 years old. Right end, Andre Branch has been hurt all season, even though he has upgraded to 82 from 77 overall. His block shedding when he came to us was 74. It's still sitting there, but his power moves and finesse moves way up, which is phenomenal. Also, his awareness is 71 now. Came to us with 57 awareness. Marcus White, the backup, his awareness up to 70 from 58. He is yet to get playing time right now because Branch is hurt. Wynn is playing on this side, but we've worked on his moves as well. In addition to his block shedding up to 70 from 64. Defensive tackles, this is the position at which I think we are the strongest overall. Linval Joseph up to 90 overall from 87, which is phenomenal for him. He did not have really many holes in his game. The only place where he was really struggling was this right here, his stamina. His stamina, when we picked him up, I did not see this the first time around, was in the toilet. It was 52. So we have spent all of his points there, with the exception of 6 points to get his awareness up to 80. But his acceleration is so great. His strength is so great. He's an amazing combination of size and speed. His run problem, though, the only problem was the stamina. Hopefully, once we get that up to a higher rating, he'll be able to play more than a couple plays without being winded. His backup, Jesse Williams, for a rookie is growing like a weed, up to 85 overall from 78. He's another great combination of size and speed, strength, the whole bit. His power moves up to 79. His block shedding is up to 88. Came to us at 86. If we can keep that rolling, he's going to be disgustingly talented. His awareness also up to 72 from 49. That's been where most of his points have gone. Last 2 guys, Miller and Diederich, both have got awareness upgrades up to be up in the 80s. And for them, their block shedding abilities where I focus most of their other points. Miller up 1 point in that regard, and Diederich up 3 points in that regard. So both of our backups over 80 overall now, which is great. Both of them growing by a minimum of 2 points. Diederich getting to 80 from 77, which is wonderful. And both of them being just 26 years old and locked up for at least 2 seasons each, make them some really nice trade bait for somebody who might want one of them. Julian Stanford has been hurt for a large portion of the first part of the season. Dakota Watson also hurt. He would have just got hurt this last game. I actually don't know what his injury is, but that would explain why Doug Hogue on the other side was into the game. Xavier Gooden also hurt right now. which, again, as you can see, the injuries piling up doesn't make it easy to win. Xavier Gooden will miss one more game. He just got hurt this past game. So he's gonna, this is the bye week, and then he'll miss one after he's back. So Hogue, Washington, and Anger is hurt. Oh my God. I got to be honest, after our 8th game, I didn't check the injured list. But right now, we have 2 healthy linebackers on this whole squad. Oh, my God. Hopefully, we have at least one who's going to be healthy after this break. I know Stanford is scheduled to come back, so we will have 3 healthy ones. In addition to that, yeah, wow, my goodness. But it gives you an idea of where we're sitting. Anyways, left outside linebacker Julian Stanford up to 77 from 71. For our linebackers, I've been trying to focus, because they're so young, on the awareness as usual. So we've got Stanford's awareness up to 80 from 62. However, his tackling is up to 85 from 73. That's been a big deal. Also, for run support purposes, I've been looking to get the block shedding ability of these guys up as well. His block shedding ability up to 80 from 66, which is great. Meanwhile, Watson up to 70 in that regard from 64. We've got his tackling up. His tackling when he came to us was 79, up to 82, mostly just for special teams purposes. But Darryl Washington, this guy is almost impossible to upgrade because he came to us as such a phenomenal player. Came to us at 88. He's up to 92. But we've changed very little. His awareness was 83 when he got here. We upgraded that just a little bit, getting up to 86. Tackling was 92. No, he was actually 93 when he got here. We have not changed that. My goodness, I can't even remember what we've upgraded with him, because he has no holes in his game. Block shedding, we've got up to 89 from 87. But, I mean, my goodness, the guy is just a beast, an absolute beast, as you can tell by the fact that he has more than 100 tackles in 8 games. It's ridiculous. Pat Anger up to 74 overall from 73. We've mostly just focused on his tackling ability to help out with special teams, as well as his block shedding. His block shedding was terrible when he got here. It was 66, now up to 82. Right outside linebacker Xavier Gooden, rookie. He's hurt right now, but he was 73 when he got here, now up to 81. Gooden was a terrible tackler when he got here, 69. Not good enough for a linebacker, now up to 80. His awareness was also poor, 51. We got that up to 80 as well. Doug Hogue, the backup, we've helped his awareness out, got it up to 76 from 67. His tackling also from 76 to 83, which is why he's up from 67 to 71 overall. Corners, Chris Culliver has missed almost the entire first portion of the season, missing weeks 2 to 7 with a hamstring tear. He's actually hurt again, so he has a second injury now, which is disappointing. Culliver's injury rating is 91. Don't understand why he can't fight this injury bug, but he's hurt again. So a shame. He came to us with 68 awareness. We've managed to work that up. And I'm actually just going to work out the awareness for all these guys, because all of our corners are so young. Up to 83. Gratz came to us with 58 awareness, up to 81. McCray came to us with 48 awareness, up to 80. Greenwood is one of the other new additions. Derek Carrier, our tight end, was one addition. Chris Greenwood was the other player we picked up. Greenwood is 6'1", 193. Got great physicals, 96 speed, 94 acceleration, 90 agility, 98 jumping, which is phenomenal. However, he can't cover anything. So the reason we brought him in, there you can see 74 man coverage, 65 zone coverage. The reason we brought him in, he's now 76 overall. When we signed him, he would have been 72 overall. So it's already helped the jump in his awareness and such. But he's going to be a project corner for us, currently sitting at the bottom of the depth chart. Next up, Mike Harris came to us with 55 awareness, now up to 80. Jeremy Harris came to us with 47 awareness, now up to 75. In addition to those awareness upgrades, we gave each of these guys man coverage upgrades because we play a lot of man. Culliver up to 88 from 85. Gratz up to 87 from 83. McCray up to 84 from 79. Greenwood sitting at 74. Not a great number, but that's okay. Mike Harris up to 85 from 80. Jeremy Harris is still at 82. We've also given each of these guys small zone upgrades, though not a whole lot. You guys can check that out on the PDF for yourselves. But their overall ratings have also done a nice job. Culliver up 4. Gratz up 6 from a 77 to 83. McCray up an impressive 8 points from 73 up to 81. Harris up to 74 from 68. And Jeremy Harris up to 74 from 67. On to the free safety side of things now. Antoine Blake, the biggest jump of anybody on this team, up to 82 from 70. 12 points overall. Reason being, his zone coverage was 73 when he came to us, now up to 82. Blake is an absolute physical freak. His jumping, his speed, his acceleration, off the charts good. But he struggles with the catching game. He struggles with the tackling game a little bit. And his awareness was brutal when he showed up. His awareness, which is a hugely important feature for a safety, was 43 when he got here, up to 80. Josh Evans, the backup, was 44 in terms of his awareness when he got here, up to 80 as well. His awareness, his zone coverage up to 80 from 77, and his overall up to 76 from 66. So a nice big jump for him there as well. And then Jonathan Cyprin, bada bing, bada boom, beats out Antoine Blake for the overall biggest jump for anybody, up to 88 overall from 73. The biggest hole in Cyprin's game was his awareness, which was just 52. Cyprin's awareness now sitting beautiful and pretty at 80. In addition to that, we've got his zone coverage up from 76 to 80. The backup, Prozinski, we got his zone coverage up from 70 to 76. We also have his awareness up from 44 to 70. Up from 61 to 77. So he's had a nice jump from 67 overall to 76 overall. But Cyprin, what an exciting guy to have. You can see a lot of our rookies jumping up huge numbers. Scobie up to 90 from 89, and Anger up to 88 from 83. So those are our guys. We have the same picks, obviously, as you can see, a huge bunch of picks. And that leads us to our the last page of this video, which is turning out to be an extremely long one at that. That's okay, though. From what I've heard, you guys really like long videos. We'll go over to the scouting page, and reason being, and actually I just realized, oh yeah, there we go. We got scouting. Don't worry about that. Scout players. There are some amazing players in this draft. Unfortunately, the Raiders, we have their first round pick. Now, the issue with that is the Raiders are 5-2 right now. I fully expect them to plummet back down to earth. However, with that being said, hopefully they don't finish 14-2 because we need that pick. We need that pick to be better. However, we are slated right now to finish with one of the top 2 picks. And the first player I want to draft, and I should share this with you guys, the positions at which I feel as though we need the biggest upgrade are, first of all, running back. Because we have been so bad in the run game this year. To help that out with the blocking, I think the biggest thing is getting Taylor Thompson into the starting tight end spot, but also upgrading our left guard spot. So I've upgraded, or I've scouted out a bunch of left guards. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, I need to share with you guys this cat. The third position I was hoping to get to was cornerback. So halfback, left guard, cornerback. To me, Terrell Jefferson could be the best prospect I've ever seen in this game. He is 22 years of age. His man coverage skills, only a B. Zone coverage, only a B. So not stellar. But wait until you see this. Tackling is a B. Pursuit, and his press coverage is also B, which is phenomenal. But his pursuit to see tackling is a B. Hit power is a B, which is pretty unheard of for a corner. His jumping is an A. Speed rating, A. Strength rating, A. Acceleration, A. Agility, B. Awareness, C. Not bad. To me, the craziest part of this is his strength. Strength for a corner, for a strong corner, like a Brandon Browner, Darrell Revis type guy, normally sitting in that like high C, low B range. He's got an A sitting there in addition to the rest of his physicals. To me, he could be the best corner in the entire NFL after 2 years of development. We might need to grab him. Other guys I've checked out, I like some of these guys just fine. And I don't want to be that Madden player, but for some of these guys, I try to stick away. I know this is annoying, but I try and stick away from guys who don't have an A in the speed rating department just because to me it limits what they can do. I'm tired of defenses going over the top. So Santana and Furman, also nice players in terms of the physicals they offer. Both are 6'1", which I like. Jefferson's just 6 feet. But Furman and Santana could also be nice projects if we're not able to get Jefferson. B man coverage is what I really like with both of these guys, so we can check that out. Let's go to left guards next. We'll save halfbacks for last because that's where I've scouted by far the most players. Really, and I should show you this as well. Left guards, very few guys slated to go early in the draft. I'm not opposed to scouting some of these guys because to me, to really get a good left tackle, all you need to do, or an interior offensive lineman really, is to find the guy with the best strength. Because so many of the other things that offensive linemen do can be learned in terms of the blocking. Like, as long as they have the physicals, you're pretty much good to go. Keithan Cross, who's right now slated to go 26th overall, I really like him. 6'6", 332, great physical stature out of Penn State. A strength, B run blocking, C pass blocking, B impact blocking. B is a very high rating of impact blocking for a guard. You don't see a lot of impact blocking for interior offensive linemen. Awareness of a C, we can fix that. And he's got decent stamina, decent toughness, and his injury is an A, which is important to me, because you never want to draft a guy and then have them, find out, oh my God, his injury rating is 56 and he's going to get hurt twice a game. I'm not opposed to checking out some of these other guys. To me, not super interested in Ray Vickery. He does have great run blocking ability, but you'll never get his strength up from a B. It's always going to be in the 80s, which for interior offensive linemen is not very good. Now, the last place I've looked for players is the running back spot. Unfortunately for us, there's a ton of running backs who are slated to go in this draft. And actually, this is weird, but there are some of them who are huge. Dentel Millison out of Washington State is 6'5". When was the last time you saw a running back who was 6'5"? Well, guess what? Timothy Furman, 6'3". Alan Powers, 6'5". Javonte Roberts, 6'3". These guys are huge. Who is a 6'5" running back? Well, there's two of them in this draft, and we could get either one if we want. Let's check out the running backs. To me, you don't need an A rating to be a good running back in terms of speed. To me, you can go with a B, not as low as a C, but you can go with a B, provided the agility and the acceleration are there. To me, like, for example, Darrell Legino, he's got A speed, B agility, but that's C acceleration. With that first move being that slow, I'm not taking that. Acceleration needs to be at least a B, preferably an A. We're looking for a West Coast kind of guy. And honestly, I'm sure if you've spent any time on my channel, you know my feelings about drafting running backs high. I heard a great quote about running backs the other day from a scout who said, great running backs are like city buses. If you miss one, just wait 5 minutes and the next one will come along. So I don't want to use a top pick on a running back. For example, Taz Stone slated to go first round. And you want to compare his stats to Delton Millison. You're basically looking at the same cat. You're looking at A, B. Taz Stone has a little bit more agility, a little better awareness, a little better carrying, but doesn't mean that he's not going to be, he's going to be way, way, way better than anybody else. Though I do like his physicals. I like the A speed, A agility. Despite the fact that he's pretty big, 5'10", 204. Down the list, there's quite a few guys who have great physical abilities. I also really like Marcus Maddox, BBB and A for acceleration. I like that his carrying ability is already a B. I like that his catching ability is a B, which is really important for our purposes as a West Coast offense, an offense that's going to throw to receivers a lot. His stamina needs work, though. You can't do a lot with a running back with C stamina. It means they're only going to play 2-3 plays with their full potential before they start getting tired and they have to put in the next guy. So I'm going to keep going down the list. I've gone down the list, as you can see, quite far for scouted halfbacks. And I'm going to keep going basically with my points. Depending on, I'm going to check out the speed and the acceleration of all these guys. And if I like what I see, then I go down the list. As you can see, Afisa Adishina, his agility is a C. I'm not taking that. I don't want to see any C's in these categories. I'm okay with B's, but I can't do C's. So we'll keep going with that. To me, let me guys know what you think. I'm only in the halfway down the fourth round, by the way. So still lots of guys to check out. Let me know what you think about who we should go after. And here's the other big question: quarterbacks in this draft. There's lots of them. Do we decide? You know what? We can hitch our wagons to Matt Scott and Blaine Gabbert, no problem. Those two guys are where it's at. We can make that happen, and it's no worries. Or do we look at drafting a quarterback? Do you guys want to go corner? To me, Chris Culliver is only under contract through next season, so I think maybe the best thing to do is draft this rookie, keep Gratz and McCray as our number 2 and 3 guys, and bring in that stellar corner who's going to be a shutdown corner for us, dominating. Then we get a decent return, I think, for Chris Culliver, who's now 85 overall and is making peanuts next season. He's under contract for us right now for just making $800,000 a year, which for a good corner as he is nothing. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like the corner possibility? Which halfback do you like? What's important to look for in a halfback? Which quarterback, or should we go quarterback? Let me know what you guys think of all my roster moves and more. Hearing from you guys is what makes this series fun, particularly one where we're serving as the GM, not actually playing the games, but just managing everything else. Also, quick update about the channel itself. Some people were saying they missed the videos because my last season, the Buffalo Bills Connected franchise, which hopefully you guys have seen. If not, please check it out because it's a good time. 95 episodes, a lot to get through, but each of them gets better than the last one. So with that being said, some people have said they missed the daily videos because I would upload that former series Monday through Friday, once a day for 5 straight days. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to record the practice sessions I do because I play all the practice sessions, and Thursday through Friday, so those 4 days a week, I'm going to upload the best one. Or pardon me, so I'll decide which the best 4 are, and I'll upload them one a day. So you won't see all 8. You'll see, but you'll see the best 4. And by the best 4, I don't mean the best 4 I played. Not going to be like the 4 that I won by a landslide. It's going to be the 4 that are the most entertaining. So if something goes terribly, like if it's just an atrocity, it's like, oh my God, this is embarrassing, I'm still going to upload it. So you guys can enjoy that. Keep your Tuxedo T-Shirt content going throughout the rest of the week. So with that being said, thank you for joining me for this episode number 2. A big update. Enjoy videos Tuesday to Friday starting tomorrow for updates and practices. All the videos will be as practices with my commentary over top as it happens in real time. So it's simple. The videos will probably not be any more than 10 minutes ever, but I think they could be something small and enjoyable that you guys can enjoy. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm Tuxedo T-Shirt. Hopefully the next time I see you guys, the Jacksonville Jaguars will have won a game. I'm okay with going 1-15 this first season, honestly, because it just means we'll get a better pick. It means that we just, the greater struggles we have early on, the greater our eventual success. But my goodness, I don't want to be the second team in the modern NFL to go 0-16. That would be embarrassing. With that being said, though, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Tuxedo T-Shirt, and I'm out.